The dawn of civilization. Primitive. Dangerous. Exciting. The handwriting is on the wall. If the human race is ever going to amount to anything, it needs
the most civilized caveman I have ever seen.
Look who's come out of his cave.
Cool. Okay, great. But yeah, you were saying how happy you were to have him on the label.
Yeah, because he promotes so hard, for himself and his music, and on a level that in some ways is kind of unparalleled in the heavy underground, because he not only is really active daily, promoting what he's doing and getting people fired up, but he's so amazing at everybody that comments on in any of his posts that he make on, whether it be social media, Facebook, or Instagram, emailing, I think too, and messaging. His response is incredible, and it seems genuine. It was crazy, to learn that, some people had typed in some stuff when I was announcing signing Redbeard Wall, and they were like, "Man, Aaron's the best. He's actually sent me personal videos and things like that." And you're like, "Man, nobody does that. That's just incredible." And I've met Aaron in person, and our bands have jammed together, and I can't wait to see him. He's only about 4.5 hours away from me.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, nice. That's not very far. That's awesome.
Especially for the Southwest.
Yeah. It's true, actually.
And down here,
Yeah, I've actually spent a bit of time in the Southwest on more than one occasion. I actually really love it out that way.
Where have you been down here?
So I did, last year with COVID, my wife and I never got to have a wedding or a honeymoon, so we just decided to take a road trip. We kind of just started in California where we live, and then went up through Utah. We got Nevada, Arizona, Utah, Colorado, and New Mexico.
Dude, you hit all the great places, man.
Yeah, man.
And we did a national parks talk. So I bought that annual pass, so that you go into an unlimited number of national parks. So we just hit park after park. It was awesome, and there's no one there because there's no tourists.
Right. Oh, that's beautiful. I mean, there's a real some sort of spirituality in the desert that is different than in other environments. And
I fully agree. I've actually said that in a couple of reviews about albums on your label, that they kind of capture that. That's hard to put into words.
Yeah, I appreciate that, because I honestly I'm not 100% just full desert rock or that kind of desert music or something, but
right.
To give it some variety, and not a lot of bands capture that anyways. But there's something that I'm always listening for, and I can't really. I don't know if I can explain even out loud what that is exactly, because I don't really know what it is.
Right.
But that's part of my my listening experience, or I guess my scouting. I mean, it seems like a weird word to me. But I guess I kind of do scout on my own, and I listen, and I try to find some connection that makes sense to have these bands on the label that would also fit in with the other bands. They're also unique, and they do somehow capture honesty in their music, and they capture, in a lot of them, something about the magic and the spirituality of the Southwest,
Right.
And Legends of the Desert, it truly is my the magnum opus of that whole sort of thing that I'm going for with the label, is capturing truly the Southwest by bands who live in the Southwest,
Right. Yeah. And I think for me, the ones on your label that really captured that the most, which was obviously one of them was involved in the Legends of the Desert, which was Cortege. And I said, is that how you pronounce it? Is it Cortege? Or
Yeah,
Cortez?
you did better than I did the first time.
Okay. And Betty Benededli, both of them really captured that sort of like, I don't know how you put it. Like, it's like a vastness. It's an emptiness, but the emptiness doesn't feel like in a bad. It's not in a negative way. It's in a like awe-inspiring type of way. Like everything's so monumental, and the fact that there's so little variety in some spots. Like there's like 7 different things that you see driving for like 4 hours, but each of those stands out so much and matters so much because it's so empty that those things are so important. I guess I don't know. That might just be me that views it that way, but I feel that way whenever I'm out in the desert.
Oh, I mean, I can connect to that 100%. And then to me, like the desert sort of is the great example in nature of like individuality, and perseverance, in a hard climate, in a harsh climate, a lack of water, some sort of, grit, animals, they really gotta dig for it. And I like that.
Mm-hmm. So just, I think I see that Aaron is on the call. Aaron, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Hey, how's it going?
It's going great, man. How's my level there?
That's fantastic.
Cool. How are y'all doing, man? Great to be here.
Great to have you.
Yeah.
Just for anyone listening, this is Aaron from Redbeard Wall, and who you've been listening to us speak to until now is Brad from Desert Records. So thanks for both coming on the show. It's great to have a chat with you both.
It's an honor to be here. Greetings, everyone. Greetings, Brad.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going well, man. I saw your show, dude. That fucking looked rad.
Oh, thanks a lot. Yeah, my band Red Mesa played Friday night at the big rock and roll venue here in Albuquerque Launchpad. It had been about 16 months since we'd taken the stage, and it was a hell of a night, man. This is amazing turnout, a great crowd, and just really great energy from the crowd. And there's over 100 people there, and we didn't know what to expect, and it was fantastic, and just really needed it to purge,
dude.
Whatever I needed to purge,
I mean, it looked amazing. I bet that shit felt great. I mean,
Yeah.
after so long, man, it's crazy.
We'll get you out here, buddy. We're
Dude,
gonna fucking jam.
Yeah, no doubt.
It's been a few years. I met Aaron in Lubbock at a show that Redbeard Wall and Red Mesa played together in. That would have March of 2019.
Okay.
And
Nice.
does that sound right, Aaron?
I think it might have been 2018.
You're right. It was.
I think it was. Yeah, I think it was 2018.
It was 2018. I think I lost a year with COVID.
Yeah, exactly. No shit. I just know it just seems like it was a long time ago now.
It's longer than 2 years. You're right. It was 2018.
Yeah.
For sure. That's funny. Roman, our drummer in Red Mesa, and he's a pretty well-known guy. He books he's been booking bands for over 13 years here in Albuquerque, mostly at Launchpad, Moonlight Lounge, Sunshine Theater. And he knew, was it George, your former drummer?
Yes.
And he knew George, and they put it together, and we met Aaron. Aaron just comes out all fired up, and we're like, dude, we fucking love this guy. And we were already aware of Redbeard Wall, and that was the first show we played on a 2-week tour that we did. And it was just one of those things that was like, as Aaron just kept, with his amazing consistency and his passion and fire that comes through online in the music community. It was a thing that's like, Redbeard Wall to me is a perfect fit for Desert Records. And I love Aaron to death. And, we talked more and more through the years. And, when we were talking last year, we're like, you know what, man, I'm really thinking that this is a fit. And Aaron's like, I'm thinking the same thing. And so it just it was pretty organic how this one came together.
That's awesome. That's great.
Yeah, most definitely, man. Like when he hit me up, I had already been thinking about hitting him up, in the couple of months before that. So I mean, there's always been some kind of kinship there. I mean, like we've gotten to know each other better here more recently for sure, but like playing that show and helping each other out and just doing that shit gives a connection. And we actually had another show booked in March of 2020, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Brad. And
Yeah.
or sometime around there, and that's when everything got shut down, so that didn't happen. So we've stayed connected, and man, I'm just fucking glad to be with the homie, man.
Hell yeah.
That's awesome. So, for anyone who I guess doesn't know, we'll start with you, Aaron, who doesn't know Red Beard Wall. Do you want to just sort of tell people a bit about the project?
Sure, man. It's called Red Beard Wall. Like, I started it out just as a solo project. I had been out of music for quite a while, and my life kind of settled down and everything stabilized. So I just decided to, see if I could write some songs, and I thought they were pretty good. So I just kept it moving and wrote a record, got that record put out, and it's just been kind of going uphill since then, just that steady, good, solid incline, But it's just I don't know what you would call it, a sludge rock band from West Texas. I have a live drummer when we play live, but I do everything here at the house. I record I do the drums, the vocals, I do all the recording and the mixing. I outsource the mastering, but everything else I do in-house. I started out, I had some money saved up and was going to go to a studio and do the first record. But I thought, man, well, I'll just invest that in some decent recording equipment and, go on the internet and learn how to record. So that's what I've been doing for going on 5 years now, coming on the third record. So it's been good, man. It's been a long journey. Lots of really good stuff has happened. I mean, I don't really have anything bad to say, honestly.
Awesome.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah. Your attitude is like just absolutely amazing, Like if you had a middle name, which I know you do have one, but I think it's gratitude.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, dude, it's just like, I mean, I put out the first record and I was like, oh, well, that's the dream, I mean, it's just like, so everything else since then's been gravy. And it's like, it's what I want to do. Like, I'm passionate about it. Like, I don't really care about anything else other than my family. I mean, I'm a simple man, man. I do music. That's what I do, It's more of just like a lifestyle thing. It's just who I am. It's just not what I do. It's just like, it's everything. It's everything,
That's awesome.
So, I mean, like and just to go farther on that, it's just like, I mean, how can I not be grateful for somebody like giving my art a chance? I mean, they're taking time out of their lives, which everybody's fucking busy, So, I mean,
right.
I don't see why that wouldn't mean something to you. And it's the least I can do is say thank you,
Yeah. Yeah.
I think
that'd be nice,
the music scene would be a pretty different place if everyone shared that attitude, I think.
I think so too, but man, I mean, it's, like I said, man, everywhere I go, I mean, everything is positive. There gets a stigma of negativity to, heavy music in general sometimes, but like, man, I've been everywhere. I've been all over the country. I've been West Coast, East Coast. And I mean, I can't even really think of a time where where other people weren't gracious and cool and welcoming. And, there's just different places in the country that I've been to that like have treated me like family. Like, I've known them on the internet or whatever, but, it's just it really is a community. Once you get out there, it's not as big as you think it is. The drives are long, but
right.
Like the people are cool, man. It's like, you can't just believe everything that you see on social media. People are negative on there. That's where they go to be negative. Like, but and from my personal experience, like it shows and in different cities and shit, I just don't feel that, I think that's I think that's something that's more hyped than anything, but people want to be cool. They don't want to be the nice guy and all that shit. You know, I want to be hard too. It's, you know, but it's just like, you know, it's just like, it is what it is, man. You just got to be grateful. Like we're lucky to be doing this. And like, I need them as much as they need me. I mean, it doesn't work without, you know, with both of us. It has to take both of us to make it go. Like if you're not at the show, I can't play my music. If I don't play my music and you know, it's symbiotic. It all works together. So, you know.
But I think what Brad was saying earlier is really important about you is that you take a lot of personal time and effort to actually thank people, which, I mean, you're right. People in general are very gracious and nice in the scene overall and on average in person, but you go out of your way not in person to actually express that gratitude. So I think that's something that I noticed about you immediately the first time I sort of saw your name popping up, you know, in the scene. And I've always seen that about you. So I think it's great. And then I just want to say how much I enjoy seeing that from you.
Well, I appreciate that, man. It's very kind of you. It means a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great. You get what you give, man, you know? And
True. Yeah, that's exactly right. Like I always say, like it's hard for somebody to be an asshole to you when you're nice to them.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
there are just flat out assholes out there who are going to be assholes no matter what. But most people, if they're an asshole, they're having a bad day. You just don't know what's going on, you know?
Yeah.
So
Right.
for you to be an asshole back is, you know, it's just not the way shit should work. So I just try to be like, I mean, I know it's cliche and shit, but like, I just want to be a better person, man. I just try to do the best that I can to be better. You know, that's it.
Right.
I can do.
That's it. Yeah.
And I think that your like the lyrics, definitely the lyrical content in your music kind of expresses that whole, like it's like a life affirming quality to it, like a reassurance of humanity.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. Like there's not many albums that leave you feeling completely pumped and also like I'm gonna have a great day today.
Yeah, it's like raw energy, but it's like positive core. Like I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, it's, you know, like it does, like, and I haven't always been that way, man. I mean, I've been a negative person plenty, believe me. But it's just like you start. It's just like you have bad habits, but you can also have good habits. Like I started being gracious, and maybe that wasn't exactly who I inherently was. But you start doing that, and then you start getting good feedback, and then you just do it and you do it, and then that becomes a good habit, and it becomes who you are eventually, you know. And then you just start doing it. And like, I mean, like I was telling my wife, I was like, I wanted this record to be like, I thought it was going to be really angry, you know.
Mhm.
But then you just like you sit there with a blank page, and then you just let it flow. And I never question my creativity. I just, you know, if it sounds good and I think it's good, I just move it on. You know, I question it after the fact, but you know. So those kind of things, like I don't think about it, and that's just what came out is, you know, it's just like people are beat down enough, you know. I've been beat down. We've all been beat down. We're all still beat down on a daily fucking basis. So I'm not gonna join that fucking party. You know what I mean?
No.
Right. So for anyone who is listening, who wasn't aware, the album is titled 3, and the release date, I think you guys have it set for it's July 2nd, right?
Correct. I believe so. Is that correct, Brad?
That is correct. We are releasing this monster piece July 2nd.
Yep.
Fuck
And
yeah.
all the pre-orders up already on your website, right? So anyone who wants to pre-order that guy can do so through your Bandcamp.
Yes,
correct?
Bandcamp and desertrecords.us.
Awesome. I always have to include that, so people need to be able to get their hands on the music.
Yes, go get that shit.
Yeah, everyone should pick up a copy today.
That's what I always say. Like, man, I wrote that shit for you, man, specifically for you.
And Brad, did you want to tell us a bit about your band?
Sure. My band's Red Mesa. It's psychedelic desert rock from Albuquerque, New Mexico. And I started the band in 2013. I grew up in Maine.
Nice.
I was there for the first 19 years of my life, more or less. and moved out to Montana for a couple years and moved to Seattle, Washington when I was 21 to live in a city for the first time. And after being there for 9 years till about 2010, I would needed to dry out. Seattle's pretty rainy and gray, and I always had this obsession with the desert ever since I visited Arches National Park in Utah, near Moab, Utah, in 2002, and something really struck me. And the joke is, like I've always been kind of like a nature boy, and I grew up in rural Maine, and I really feel the power it being out in nature and how it can really change you in so many good ways. And I just really tapped into something in the desert, and it just never got out of my soul. And I kept telling everybody, I'm going to move to the desert. I'm going to move to the desert and start a desert rock band. And it took me till I was about 30 to do it. And I moved to Albuquerque, and I had never been to New Mexico, but I had been traveling around a lot in my 20s, and I on and off in the summers for the Park Service and the Forest Service, and I was building trail in the wilderness.
Nice.
And that was my life before music, is a lot of fishing and camping and long distance backpacking and mountaineering and building trail.
Awesome.
And I had never been to New Mexico on any of or work that I had done, and I just felt like it was the right place, And I just brought a guitar and a backpack and moved here at 30, and I was single at the time. Of course, I didn't have any kids or anything. And it was my goal was to start a desert rock band. I started Red Mesa in 2013, and we put our first self-titled album out, which we recorded dirt cheap in like 2 or 3 days, and made a video for Low and Slow. And Bucky Brown saw it and sent it over to Todd at Ripple.
Nice.
Todd hit me up, introduced himself, and I already knew of Ripple, and I was following all that scene, and
good music.
We all felt kind of I guess New Mexico feels a little disconnected sometimes. I'm sure Aaron kind of feels that way in some ways, especially early on until the community really started to grow online. We did a Second Coming of Heavy Volume 4. We were on that split with Ripple in 2016. That came out, and that kind of gave us some new fan base. And I started working on what was going to be the 2018's album, The Devil in the Desert. And I was looking for a label at the time, and I lost my rhythm section due to one guy, having other stuff that he wanted to do, non-music related. And then the other guy kind of went back to his family. And so it was just me in the studio recording The Devil in the Desert. And I decided to start Desert Records to put it out.
Nice.
And I was talking to Todd. He gave me a lot of tips, and he gave me his blessings. I talked to Jad Schickler, who runs Blues Funeral and Magnetic Eye Records and Ripple as well. He works with Todd, and he started Meteor Records back in 1997. He's a record label guru, in the heavy ground. And Jad lives here, and I see him a few times a month. He's in Albuquerque, and he's been a big mentor to me. And I just decided to do it, and put out The Devil in the Desert was my first release on Desert Records. And I thought I was just going to keep it to putting out bands, or my own band, and then it kind of slowly grew from there. And then it really fucking grew,
Yeah, you guys massively expanded the roster in like a really short period of time.
Yeah. I think it had to do with me being up all night long, with my my newborn son Wyatt, who was born last August, and my wife, and I was just sort of like up at night a lot, and I was like, man, I'm gonna sign some fucking bands, and you know, and I was sort of in this like sleep funk phase, you know, the early infancy, you know.
Yeah, I know about it.
You know, and Aaron knows, and
yeah, 2 kids too.
Yeah, and it's a weird time, and I almost lost track of all these bands that I signed. It's like, holy shit,
what did I do?
Exactly. 2021 is going to be insane, and it's been insane. The label's just fucking cranking, dude, you know?
Yeah.
And it's quite a rush, you know, and it for me, I just feel like I'm a servant of rock and roll, and it's humbling because running a record label is really, you know, imagine, you know, you're doing your music thing and the band's on top of that, and you're a part of their process, and you're putting out somebody else's art. You cannot take that responsibility.
Right.
And for me, all about focus and balance, man. That's like my mantra, you know, focus and balance. And, you know, when I'm focused on the label, I am fucking 100% in, and I'm to get people to hear this person's music, just like it was my own. And I have to approach it that way. And it's just me, and it's a lot of work, and I still have a full-time job. You know, it's just but it's so satisfying too. And to work with people like fired up, you know, and you're just like, let's fucking go, dude. Let's go. You know, what do you want to do? Let's fucking go. And, I feel like we haven't even hit our stride yet. A lot of it is me. There's times where I need to go, hey, you know, give me a few days or a week, and I need to put everything I can into this release that's coming out. But the nice thing is we're starting to build up into the release of his album, and we're going to be doing a lot of cool stuff over the next few weeks. And so you know, that kind of mixing it back in with my band, Red Man. I'm in a band, and I understand what it's like, and I think that's one of the most important things for record label, because before, the record labels were not ever managed by anyone who actually played music or were in their own bands, you know, usually.
Right.
And they really fucked up the music industry, you know, and they were greedy, and they wrote contracts that musicians didn't understand so they could get most of the money. And if you sign a major record label now, you know, with like Sony or whatever, I mean, it's going to be a shitty fucking deal. You're going to owe them forever unless you do well. And Desert Records is so not set up that way, and that's intentional too, you know. So a lot of it's been carefully planned out, like how it favor the musician and the artist itself, in a way that they feel like they're taken care of, and they feel good about everything, and they have the artistic freedom to put out whatever they want. It's not like I'm gonna, you know, hit up Aaron and go, okay, you need to sound just like fucking Helmet or something. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I'm not gonna do that ever. It's gonna be like, send me, you know, 40 minutes of your best shit, and I'll talk to you in a few months, you know. And it's really hands off that way, man. And I trust my bands, you know. And that, I think that's just a beautiful thing. It's hard these days for people who are really busy in their lives and are not like fucking crazy music fans like we all are talking right now. Because so many people listen to music in their car going to work, and it's the same old rehash shit on the radio forever.
right.
And they're never being exposed to a band like Redbeard Wall. They're never hearing any releases by anything like a small label like Desert Records.
Right.
And we don't fucking put out music for those people. I don't sign bands for those people. I sign them for the people who want to hear new shit and are inspired by that and are inspired by what they're making. And there's something so gratifying about that, you know, because you're like, at least this shit's fucking real, you know? And it came from a place that is honest, and it's a real story from someone working just as hard as you are, you know, and they're still working a day job, and they're still doing what they love. And I think that's the thing that you don't want to let slip in your life, is life goes by so fast, you know, even though it can feel like it's dragging or something. And, you know, you don't ever want to lose sight of, you know, your passion or your dream or your vision, and you want to follow through with that. And I know Aaron knows exactly what the fuck I'm talking about, because he lives that too. And that's the whole point, I think, in life. And for us, it's music, man. And I'm obsessed with it 100%, and 24/7 my whole day. And it's like, this is what we do, you know?
Right.
And I know the other bands on the label are the same way. And I just hope that I can bring more ears to their music, you know?
Right.
Hell yeah.
No, I fully understand exactly what you mean. 'Cause, I mean, obviously, I don't own a record label or anything like that, but I know exactly what you mean about trying to find a way in life that you can do what you love and actually make a living out of it at the same time. Not necessarily a living, but, you know, you can make it a part of your life that's not just a hobby. It's more than that.
Definitely. Yeah, it's just, I mean, like he said, I mean, fucking Brad's a saint. I want to say that. Brad is a fucking saint. But yeah, man, it's just about, like he said, it's just like what we do. It's like everything that we do. It's everything we think about. It's like, you know, it's real. I'm really serious about it. It's very fucking important. Like, to me, it's like, this is all I have to leave something behind that's worthwhile, you know, that once I'm gone, I want my kids, when they talk to my grandkids, to say, man, that was a real dude right there. You know, that dude did some shit, you know, and that's really what it's all about. To me, it's bigger than just having fun and making music and doing that. Right. It's just, you know, I want to be down the line. I want people to look back and be like, that was one cool motherfucker right there. You know, that's really what it boils down to, you know, just like leaving a legacy, leaving something worthwhile, leaving something positive in the world, you know, putting something positive out there.
Right. Know? And helping other people too to achieve the same thing.
And like I said, I mean, it's just, I mean, it does help people. Like, I get messages like, you know, just of people saying it matters, you know. It always blows my mind, you know. Like, I never think of it as like an artist and a fan. I think of this as all friends, you know.
Right.
So I just never it always blows my mind that, like, you know, like when we play a show and people are like, oh, that's Redbeard or whatever. It's like, no, I'm you know, we're together, you know. So that's part of it too. Like, I'm super humble about it. I'm just grateful. I'm honestly and truly grateful to be here and for people to give a shit at all. You know what I mean? Because they don't have to, and most people don't, you know. But the people that do, you best believe I'm going to take care of them, you know, because it's you know, like I said, I'll say it all the time. It's everything to me. You know, it's super important. It's like, man. It's like my food. It's like food. It's like air to me. You know, like if I don't have that and I don't give that and I don't get that back, it's, you know, I'll die.
It's essential.
Definitely. Yeah. Definitely.
That's why I've never understood artists who take advantage of their supporters, you know, who rip people off, who pay money towards their music. Like, I've never understood or grasped that. Like, someone's going out of their way to support you as a person and what you're trying to express, and then you're gonna, you know, treat them poorly. Like, that's mind blowing to me.
True. And like onto that point, I think that's like that was always like part of like the lifestyle, or not the lifestyle, but how you were supposed to present yourself. Well, I'm the cool rock star, or what, you know, right. all that kind of shit. Well, then I think that's kind of why I guess the way I am really it hits people is because they think it's supposed to be that way. You know what I mean? And it doesn't have to be that way.
Right. Yeah.
And people who do that are not really even like that anyway. It's just an act.
Persona.
You know? It's not like you were talking about earlier about it's just being real. Like this is fucking real. This is from the heart and the soul. Like this is not to be played around with, you know?
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, there's definitely things within certain subgenres of the metal community where there's a push to, you know, present yourself a certain way, like you just said, like to be evil or to be like really hardcore or, you know, like edgy and, you know, to treat people like shit. And you're right. I mean, I've met a lot of dudes who play in those sort of like subgenres who are absolutely nothing like that as a person. They're lovely people. But then when they're on stage, obviously there's that persona they put up because, you know, it's expected of you.
Definitely.
Right.
Well, you know, if you look at the tree of metal and you see all the subgenres, you know, really the subgenres that like Desert Records is working with and heavy rock and metal, and that we're all part of the community and has so much strength and integrity and so much positivity, like Aaron was saying. A lot of that is, you know, heavy psychedelic and desert rock and stoner metal, stoner doom metal, you know, that kind of thing, sludge.
Yeah, good stuff. You got some good stuff on there.
Is a very different group of musicians and a group of people, and that's a tight community in and of itself that generally does not cross over with death metal, black metal, and things like that. And I'm not saying anything bad about those genres because I also listen to them. There is not much crossover, and those people don't play shows together usually, and there's a different attitude and mentality for sure, you know. And you know, there's so much support amongst each other in our scene that it's kind of mind-blowing because number one, you can be a dick in this scene because someone's going to call you out and in the right way, and you can't be ripping people off or being shitty to fans because this is a community that has integrity, and for the most part people are really cool, and
definitely
both the fans and the bands, you know, and the labels. And it's much more of a recognized that, you know, the days of being a $1 million rock star are over.
Right.
And we're trying to get Aaron there. I don't know if that's going to happen, buddy, but we're going to.
Hey, we're gonna try like it is possible. Put it that way.
Right. It's different. Heavy rock is not popular right now.
Right.
And when we say popular, when it's not mainstream, and
right,
you know, country and pop and electronica rules around the world.
Hip hop these days too is really massive.
Sorry, yeah, right, yeah. Of course, those four genres, they rule the world, and they rule the festivals and the airwaves and the Spotify playlists and everything. And people think that rock and roll is dead, and it's not. In fact, it's extremely vibrant and extremely creative and extremely unique, full of phenomenal, colorful people that are just as interesting to talk to and to meet as see them play and listen to their music. And there's really something alive right now. And that's, you know, what we're always trying to do is to get more people to hear that. And it's easy to lump metal into something that's full of hatred or racism or homophobia or anything like that. And, you know, this community rejects all that shit. And
right.
Yeah.
And that's a beautiful thing, man.
Yeah.
And when you go out and see the shows, like, God, man, everyone's a big fucking teddy bear, you know?
Right.
Everyone's so nice. Like, you know, my drummer Roman, you know, he does Monolith on the Mesa. He's the co-organizer and founder of that epic festival in Taos, New Mexico. And, you know, that festival is such a great example of the scene where, you know, you could be taking a photo of somebody on stage and someone walks past you and or bumps you or something like that, and they apologize, you know. And it's like, I've never been around rock and roll or metal fans that would ever give you the time of day that they walked in front of you while you were taking a photo of the band on stage. Just like, wow, everyone's really, really genuinely
I
nice.
remember going to a festival back in the day, and there was like this crazy parade with all these like people in costumes and like all these like huge puppets that they made, you know, and all this stuff. And it was, you know, back in the day, so it was like a lot, like we didn't have crazy cell phones with all that stuff. So I was like, I had a disposable camera, and I was taking pictures of this parade, and this chick ran up to me, grabbed my camera, opened it up, and teared it out. And she was just like, "You took a picture of me, and I don't want it." And I'm like, "Oh, are you serious?" Like, wow.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Really? That's crazy.
Yeah, that really happened to me.
Yeah, but you know, it's definitely really not that way. And
Yeah,
I think people are really hungry for live music post COVID, and I think that the shows that are going to be coming up are going to be fucking electrifying.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. I think that people are just so excited to get back to it.
Yeah.
So are we. Yeah, so are we.
Yeah, I actually saw a kind of funny meme yesterday that was like, I lost everything in the 2021 financial collapse of every band announcing tours at the same time again.
know.
Is that right? But there's better to be too many than none, I guess, right?
Yeah, that's great. It's exciting. I keep seeing like festivals like popping up again, be like, we're back on and stuff. I'm like, oh, that's so exciting.
Yeah, it's like every day little tours are getting announced. Yeah, it's getting. Hopefully, it's coming back, man. It was a weird time, man.
Yeah. It was like it's just so crazy that the last show that people went to before COVID happened, no one knew that was going to be their last show.
No.
Yeah, no doubt. Like we had a show booked on, I believe it was like March 17th or something. It's at South by Southwest, or whatever St. Patrick's Day was.
Yeah.
And I had to rent a trailer. I was gonna take off down there on Saturday morning, so I went and got the trailer on Friday afternoon, and they messaged me Friday night that everything was shut down. So I just had to sadly take the empty trailer back the next day, you know, like so it was pretty crazy. But yeah, we played a show in San Antonio last month, and it was like people, like you said, man, people are ready for it, receptive to it, man. It was one of the best shows that we've ever had, you know, so
That's awesome.
I'm really expecting it to be popping off at least for a while now.
Yeah.
The only sad thing is that so many classic venues and like clubs and stuff where people have been playing for decades have shut down. They just died.
Yeah, that too, man. That's one thing that's going to be really interesting to see is like, you know, what all comes out, what all doesn't, you know. But that was definitely hard to see, you know.
Yeah,
because some of those places are special, man. You know,
yeah,
we've been lucky enough to play, you know, some of them, and it's just. Like that's one of the things I love about playing is going to the different places and playing those, you know, just places where people you fucking idolize or look up to or love have played, and you're standing on that same stage, all that kind of shit, you know. Like I'm a geek for that stuff, you know.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You, dude.
Yeah, my there's a venue that I had been going to since I was like 17, so like well over a decade. And a decade and a half, maybe it died during COVID.
Yeah,
it was soul crushing.
Because really, all we got is memories, man, and those places hold a lot of memories for a lot of us, you know. So that is definitely a hard thing. But like, you know, we did stuff. There was, you know, the Lost Well in Austin is one of our favorite places, and during COVID, we did a fundraiser for them and raised like $500, but you know, it's something. But anyway, just like to help to do everything we could to like keep our favorite places making it through. And luckily it looks like they did, you know, but it's insane. Like people don't understand like the scope of how vast, you know, it affected people, especially like, you know, in Austin specifically, that's like our home away from home kind of. So, you know, most people who are there are musicians, and then their jobs are usually a bartender or they work at a restaurant. Like, so It wasn't just the venues that got shut down. It was all of that stuff too. And then like, they didn't have anything, you know? So
Right.
Like us, we're like I'm lucky to have a full-time job. You know, I've got a pretty stable life, luckily. And I mean, but a lot of people didn't, man, you know, and you got to feel for that shit and try to help any way you can, if you can.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Like you said earlier, you never know what people are going through.
Definitely, man. And I mean, people are always going through something. So it's just best to just try to be gentle, man. Like you said, I mean, everybody's had hard times. Like, I didn't want nobody fucking with me while I was having a hard time. So why are you going to be doing it to somebody when your life is going okay and things are going okay? Why are you going to bring it down on somebody else? You know, I mean, it's just not the way to operate. Like you said, man, if like more people did, you know, just treated people a little bit better, man, you know, just try to be better. Just try, you know, that's really the deal.
Put in some effort, you know.
Yeah,
Help
that's
people out,
it, man.
you know?
Yeah.
Like, be a good neighbor. Like,
that's right, dude.
do
Exactly.
shit.
Yeah, dude. It just, I mean, like I said, it's hard for people to be mean to you when you're nice to them. And then, you know, sometimes it makes a lot of difference to somebody just to be positive, just that little, you don't know, man, you know, and it doesn't hurt you. Like, it doesn't, like, in going back to me saying thank you to everybody, like, that is a true thing. Like, man, I am grateful. And it doesn't take that much time. You can say it does, and you can say it's a lot of hard work and like, you got to stay on it, which you do. But I mean, come on, man, you know, like, do you want to do it or do you not? I mean, it's just, I mean, it's not that big a deal. Like, if I see somebody that I know says they're having a hard day, like, I'll send them a video message. I mean, it takes 10 fucking seconds of my day. Like, that's not hard. You can't come on, oh, well, it's too much. It's not too much. You just don't want to do it. So just put out the effort. Like, it comes back to you when you do good. It comes back to you. I know that's fucking Disney shit or whatever, but it's true, man. It is.
No, it's true. It's true. Yeah.
Anything you throw out there is a boomerang, man. Throwing out vibrations, it's like there. It comes back, dude. Everything.
Definitely.
Yeah. And
if you don't believe, here's your thoughts.
Yeah. If you don't believe in, like, even if you don't believe in karma or the universe or any of that stuff, if people see that you constantly help other people when you're down, people will help you back.
Definitely. Like I always say, karma's undefeated, man. Karma will take you down. If you want to be a fuck up, karma will take you down. And it does every single time. So it's just best. I mean, believe what you want to believe, but it's just best not to test it, you know?
Yeah. Yep.
Podcast is all about love.
Yeah, let's call this like lessons in positivity. I think that'd be a good title.
Yeah, if you're out there listening to this and you find this off-putting because it's all about positivity and love, you probably need to listen to this whole podcast. You know, for
yeah, listen to it multiple times. Yes,
there's a misconception in heavy music.
Right, it looks ugly.
And in writing and creating heavy music, that you have to be in a negative space to do it, and your life has to be in the gutter. And that'll get you one good record, and that's fine, you know. But you can't maintain that and be, in my opinion, a sustainable human being that can evolve themselves and help bring up others around you if you are in self-destructive mode all the time.
Right. It's not fair.
It's not fair to you or anybody else. And so, you know, we've all had our ups and downs in life, and life will kick your fucking ass, and it'll humble you. And a lot of people think they're real badass, and that's fine. But they're not. And deep down inside, they're dealing with pain and suffering like we all are. And if you can admit that to yourself, that makes you a lot stronger of a person to do that, you know. And, you know, for me, music is cathartic, and it allows me to get things out. And I know it's that way for Aaron and the bands on the label and all the bands in the community. I think musicians in general, part of that is tapping into something that is very hard to put into words in a conversation. And you can tell when someone's being honest, you know, and that's really what it's about, man, is finding that outlet for, I mean, I think at least in this particular moment in time that we're sharing. Music, for me, if I listen to something that's happy, it generally does not make me happy.
Yeah.
I don't like the happy music. You know, I like positive music, but I don't like the happy shit. And
Yeah. I totally
something
get
that will allow you to help kind of, you know, give you inspiration or let out the demons or whatever. That's really what I enjoy. Or transport you to an environment, you know.
Yeah.
Music can help you transport you, and will, if you really let the music soak into your bones and your soul. It will take you out of your home in your hometown and will teleport you. It could be anywhere in the world on Earth. It could take you into the multiverse and beyond. You know, that's the beautiful thing about what it does. And I think that in and of itself that's the magic of the art of music is the ability to do that. And also maybe communicate and give you the words and the thoughts that maybe you are stuck on with something you're dealing with. I like music. It helps you get through things, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And we'll talk about it. Like, you know, Aaron, your song Move Forth, which is, it's coming. It's a really fucking sick song, and we're going to premiere it this Friday. With Doomed and Stone. Like, the first line of that song is, "What the fuck have we done?" Right?
Correct.
I love that, man. Like, what an amazing way to open an album. And we're really excited for you guys to hear the song on this coming Friday, which will be Friday, June 19th. Aaron cracks it open right from the beginning. That's the first line of his new album.
Taps you right in the teeth.
The fuck have we done? Yeah.
It's a good one, man. I think y'all will like it. But yeah, I just like it. That song had to be. I had tapped the instrumental, which was always going to be like the first, but that Move Forth was always going to be like the opening song. I mean, ever since the very first time I wrote it, I knew that's what it was going to be. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. You got to wait to hear it.
Aaron, you got to be playing that one live.
We are. We're working them in right now, man. We're gonna get it in there. But yeah, right now we got Tap, Contrarian, Move Forth, and Home.
For new live Redbeard Wall.
For new live Redbeard Wall. Yeah, we're gonna open the set with Tap and Contrarian. So
killer, buddy. Love it.
Dude, I'm fucking stoked, man. I mean, like the drummer Brent, he lives in New Braunfels, which is about 6.5 hours away from me. Like to give you some perspective, like I live like right at the edge of the desert in the high plains of West Texas. Like there is absolutely nothing around me. Like I believe I'm 6 hours from Brad. Like for me to play like a good show, I have to go to Dallas, which is 5 hours. So it takes me six hours to get to Austin. So like I'm just out here kind of in the middle of nowhere doing my thing. But yeah, man, we've got a lot of killer shit coming up, but I've been fucking getting those new songs tightened up just with the PA system in my little studio, and I can already tell, man. So it's gonna be fun.
You haven't worked in Liberate?
Not quite yet, but we're gonna get that one in there as well. Yeah,
I love that song, man. That is such a good song.
The goal right now is to play the whole record here, hopefully in maybe 2 months or so.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, that one really goes off. And the chorus to that, like from the time I heard it the first time, has been stuck in my head basically.
Hell yeah, dude. That's what it's about. Those earworms, man.
Yeah. And I know when when you donated the song for our charity sampler, and everybody we had listened to the music, and James and I are going through everything, and I was like, dude, this is like exactly what this is all about. Like this song needs to rip this thing off, you know.
Dude,
it does. Like it sets the tone.
And since I've got y'all here, that was a fucking honor. That meant a lot. But yeah, dude, it's just like those things come together like that. I don't know, man. I just feel like that was just something that was meant to be. I feel like it fit the fit the goal and the purpose perfectly
Yeah,
as well,
Yeah,
man.
it
It's
did.
just like, you know, and I mean, for y'all to be putting it out at that time, right as that was coming out, you know, those things work out, you know, like that's what I'm talking about. Like even just, you know, just, I don't know, man. I know we keep going back to it, but just like, just putting good shit out there, man, and doing good things and trying to be as best you can. Like, then things like that happen, like, oh, it's fate, you know, like karma, it's whatever, but it just seems to like kind of paths cross at the right time, man, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
you know, it's luck. A lot of it's luck, but you know, I know there's plenty of sayings about it, but I mean, there's just, it's being there at the right time, and a lot of it's luck, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did want to say thank you to you and Brad both for contributing all those songs. It really made a huge difference to the overall quality of the sampler. Like all the stuff that you guys contributed was just awesome.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It was rad. It was an honor for sure.
That was a lot of fun because I sent out an email to all the Desert Records bands, and then all of a sudden I reconnect with James on that. I'm like, hey, dude, I got a lot of bands that are interested. How many do you want? Desert Records bands. Like, I'll take them all. And I think we got 8. You did 4 in each volume, right?
I think so. Yeah, it was 7 or 8. I think it was 8.
Which was really rad. It was called Mind Over Metal. Who for your viewers out there who don't know what we're talking about, and this was a Cave Dwellers music release that was a compilation of over 50 bands. What was that about? When did you put that out? Was the last Bandcamp Friday that happened? That was May?
Yeah, it was the very last Bandcamp Friday. It came together in like 3 weeks from the time I kind of had the idea. It was kind of crazy how fast it came together.
Man.
Yeah, it was crazy. Like getting the messages from him was like, we were overwhelmed with how many bands wanted to contribute. But going back to what Brad said, I mean, that's the way the community is, man. We're about each other. Like, and I was thinking too, while he was talking about like, you know, you would think too, like about like competition and all of that stuff, man. But it's just, it's just not like that shit. It's just cool to be a part of, man. Like,
yeah,
you know, you have lifelong friends. Like like, and thing about social media too, man. You can have a bad stigma, but it works if you use it the right way.
Right.
You know, like I have truly met like lifelong friends that I met on social media that I eventually met, and that like that's how my drummer, that's how we met. He played in another band in Austin, and we met through the community, and eventually he became one of my good friends. And then down the line, now he's my drummer, and it's like you're playing in your band with a friend, you know. So I mean, it just all works, you know.
Well, that's how Brendan and I met. We didn't know each other until last year, and we met through the Cave Dweller Facebook group.
Yeah.
Right.
Cool. Awesome. That was fun.
But yeah, it does. It definitely works if you use it the right way.
100%.
Yeah, and Brad, sorry, you were saying you had like 8. Every band kind of just got back to you on that email that you sent out.
You know, and some bands are better at checking their emails than others, you know. That's a real thing. And so some of them are like good, and you're like, dude, you missed it. It's already fucking out, dude. You know.
See, I'm the opposite of that, man. I mean, I ain't missing shit.
Yeah.
No,
hypervigilant.
Aaron
Hey, hypervigilant.
Yeah, no, Aaron doesn't miss anything, and honestly, this is the type of bands and artists that I want to work with. Like, you know, we're going to communicate, and it's going to be, you know, fluid. There's not going to be just gaps in time.
Right.
It's incredible how shitty so many bands are at just basic communication. Whether it's in person, you know, or on the internet. And that really separates the bands that grow faster and get better opportunities, and get better shows and build better connections. There's a whole aspect to that. You really need to be communicative. And I think that's a lesson for life, that no one can read your mind. People only know what you tell them, and you want to be clear with what you're telling people and what you want. I think that's a very important lesson.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely. And like on that point, like communication, it shows the other person that you care, that you're actually interested in what's going on, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's such a simple thing that nobody does, but like, you know, if Brad's hitting me up, asking me questions, it shows me that he's interested. It makes me feel good about it. Like, oh, hell yeah. And it gives me motivation to do for him what he's doing for me. And then we both fucking you know.
I mean, Aaron and I, we communicate weekly, and sometimes it's every day in certain weeks. And we're right on it, man. And, you know, Aaron and I have talked, we share very similar philosophies, and it's very, it's very self-fulfilling in a sense to share that with Aaron, you know, where we're like, we don't party. We get up earlier than anybody else, and we go to bed later than anybody else, and we work hard at what we love to do. After we take care of our families, you know, and that's the mentality you got to have these days. It is very, very saturated online with music.
Yes.
The music industry and music as we know it is so fundamentally different that I think a lot of people have in their minds as kids. You know, that if you're not on the radio or on MTV, then you're really not a musician, and that's not true. There's a stigma around that where, oh, if you're a musician, then it's easy, and you've had an easy ride, and you're just born with it. You're a millionaire. You know, these kind of things. I seriously, like, you know,
like, no, I'm passionate.
People think that it's not. It's actually
that's maybe 1 in every 10 million people, 100 million people that happens to happen for.
Yeah, and I don't know what that statistic would be, but you know, it's astronomically huge, and it's not going to be mostly anybody. And it's all about hard work and dedication, and staying positive and staying focused on your vision and your goals. And the thing about being a musician is, I think inherently, I know for myself, I'm not necessarily organized, because my mind is sort of in this strange musical space that's either I'm hearing something in my head that somebody else's, or I am hearing something that's mine, and trying to work on that in conjunction with everything else that's going on with life. And that headspace is very interesting, because it's very loud. You know, to me, it's very loud in my head with that aspect. And I guess my whole point is that it's just such a labor of love that becomes a ritual, and that ritual has to be something positive if you're going to work at it day in and day out. Aaron talked about forming good habits, you know, you've got to do that, and you've got to sustain, you know, and feed the fire, man, and stay positive, and don't take things too personally. And that's really hard to do, you know? And I think those kind of things all kind of create something that's, you know, I do this, I think it was, Steve Von Till from Neurosis. He said something, to paraphrase, that was like, you know, I make music to wage war for my soul.
All right.
And when I remember reading that years ago, I was like, it really stuck with me. It's like, I really resonate with that. It's like, I am waging war for my soul, because I think living in this particular society that we live here, especially in America today, everything's trying to suck your fucking soul. And everything is designed to make you just work harder and harder and harder and harder
Till you die.
This thing that's promised to you, this American dream, being a millionaire, having everything you want in America. It's bullshit. And I think a lot of us realize that and are like, fuck that, you know. If you're really going to do what you want to do and what you believe in, you're going to have to do it yourself, and you're going to have to believe in yourself.
Yep.
And you're going to have to not stop. You know, under any conditions, unless the conditions are wrong, whatever that means, you know. And also remember that it is life, and life is
unpredictable.
Life is funny, you know. I mean, funny in the sense is that we're human beings are strange. We forget things very quickly, and we get impatient very quickly, and we take things for granted very quickly, and you know, and we're kind of silly. We're really silly, you know. And I try not to take myself too seriously, but I do take what I do seriously. I think that's really important. And like Aaron, I'm a really intense motherfucker. And I think that I just kind of put that into my output, you know.
Yeah, you said something just before that made me think of something I read recently about how you have to never give up. You know, just what you're saying just then. I read a quote the other day saying, "Never be afraid to champion what you believe in and what you're doing, because no one will do it for you." And I think there's a lot of people out there who think that they're bothering people with their art, if you know what I mean. Like they'll have a band and they'll spend hundreds of hours working on recording stuff and putting an album together and like spend all this money and all this effort, and then they'll post on Facebook like maybe 2 or 3 times, like, I really don't want to bother people, you know what I mean? Like I've already like harassed people to listen to it. Like if you're not the person who's doing that, no other person's going to do that for you.
Yeah, that's true. And you know, you have to do it, and it's hard to, you don't want to bang people over the head with your own stuff.
Exactly. There's a balance.
Like, but you have to.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the thing, is that really you actually have to post a lot. You know, Aaron and I post daily, and we have committed to that. And do I really want to be on the internet all the time or on social media? If I'm being honest, no. Do I have to? So staying relevant, running a record label and having my own band, and, you know, letting fans know what's happening. Yeah, it's a responsibility in that sense that you got to be on there and do it. It is the way to communicate right now to the greater audience and a community. And
there's a pushback against that I've noticed a lot, because obviously I deal with people from a lot of different backgrounds with our site, but there's some people who accepted that fact and embraced it, and those people tend to be doing quite well. And then there's those people whose mentality is, well, I hate social media and I think it's stupid, therefore everyone must think the same way as me, so I'm not going to use it. And I think in this day and age, it's counterproductive to view it that way. Obviously, there's a lot of issues with it. I personally view it as causing a lot of divide in the world. But again, like Aaron said, it depends on how you use it, if you use it properly.
Yeah, most definitely. Like it's just a tool, but like you have to like go back to what Brad said. People's attention spans are very short. Like you have, if you don't post, you know, weekly or very consistently, then they're not going to remember. They're not going to remember you. They're not going to see. And like with the way the algorithms are and all that bullshit, I mean, most people don't see it anyway, you know? So it's just, but like he said, I don't like it either. Like I don't, you know, if I had a choice, I wouldn't do it either. Right. But it's just the way it is, you know, it's part of it. Like if you want to do it, you got to do it. And that's one thing you see with bands, man, they come out of the gate, you know, and they see all these people telling them how to be successful and all this stuff and be consistent, and they'll do it for a little bit, you know, but then it is, I mean, I guess I maybe overstated earlier about it's not a lot of work, because it does take time. I mean, it is kind of a pain in the ass, but and so people just can't push through that, but you just have to, you know, it's just, it is what it is.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
But it's just like we were talking about earlier about good habits and stuff. It's just a habit. Like, I mean, you get to the point where you're posting every day where it's almost like, whoa, I haven't posted today. You know, it's almost like it's a very evil thing. It's kind of like a drug as well. You know, I mean, it's just I don't know. Everything is weird. And I just want to play my music.
Yeah, the algorithms made it that way. Have you guys seen that documentary, The Social Dilemma?
So bad.
Yes.
I have not.
Oh, dude, you have to watch that. It's like one of the most fascinating documentaries I've seen in like the last 10 years. It's very eye-opening. It's about basically they interview people who built the social media engines for all the big sites. So it's like all old tech CEOs and software designers and that sort of thing. And they kind of just go into detail about how all those social media sites started and how they lost control of the original vision. But it's very, very eye-opening.
It's great. It's insane. It's insane.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch that for sure.
I tried to avoid it because I was like, I don't want to find out what kind of an asshole I am. And then I was like, oh, yeah, I'm not technically the asshole. But
Yeah.
Right,
Well, that's the thing.
right.
It makes you realize that it's not you, that it's the companies. And it kind of shows you that none of them had that vision starting out of it becoming what it is today. They lost control somewhere. It outgrew
Right. It just
the people involved.
Right.
Mhm.
It was just a slippery slope, and man, it went.
Yep.
But yeah, it's insane how gullible we all are. You know, and like about how much we don't know. Like we just don't go along with our lives and shit. And man, there's some wicked shit going on, you know.
Yeah.
And that's a whole double-edged sword there as well. It's like it's good to be aware of what's going on because you need to know what's happening in the world around you. But at the same time, if you over focus on that, it makes it hard to live a healthy and happy life. And you kind of have to find that balance of being like aware of what's happening enough to be a part of the problem instead of like be a part of the solution, not the problem.
Definitely. And you also have to, one of the big things is you have to admit that you are a part of the problem,
Yep.
Like, it's just how can you come to grips with that? It's weird. I don't know. It's a weird time, like not just with the COVID thing, but just in general, man. I think it's just looking back, I think this is going to be one of those times, that like Ken Burns makes a documentary about,
Yeah.
No, I mean, you're right. It's I don't think there's ever been another point, probably in history, maybe very few select ones, like the Industrial Revolution happening, that sort of thing, but of that much social change in such a short period of time.
Right. And we're kind of in it, so we don't really have that perspective of it, but it definitely feels historical for sure.
Right. And I mean, you guys probably don't know this, but I actually have an anthropology and history degree and a postgraduate in political studies. So this stuff is all like, it fascinates me. And it's a very crazy time to be looking at that stuff. People don't really know what's going on from week to week.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I mean, you look back, the 80s were crazy. It's always been crazy. It's always been crazy, but there's just something about right now that like there's a change happening. There's more of a divide than there's ever been, it seems like. But now things seem to be in the open. You can't deny things that we used to be able to sweep under the rug and,
Right.
just kind of not talk about or whatever. Like, no, everything's out there now. Now it's about like, how are you gonna move forward? Are you gonna be a shithead, or are you gonna be a part of the solution? Like you said, like, like all those cliches are cliches because they're true. Like we're all humans, man. It's all fucking ridiculous to me. I have a really hard time with it, and then in the music, I just try to bring awareness to that stuff, but like in a positive way. Like, we are all together. Like, I got your back. Like, we got each other's back. We just need to have each other's back, like just a little more empathy, a little more compassion. Like, nobody's asking for your radical life change and shit. But like you said, just try to learn a little bit more every day. Try to think, just try to sit with yourself and just think about things. And like, even just decisions, like think about what could happen, what's not going to happen. Just think. I just think people should, and it's hard. Cause like, and like Brad said, with him and I, an artist, and I'm sure y'all too, like just thinkers, like your head is loud, you know, like, and I mean, if you can sit and kind of just work through your thoughts and like let your thoughts complete rather than reacting about everything. And because I mean, a lot of times it's not what you think it is, you know, and a lot of times you're thinking about something that may happen that probably won't. And then
negative loops.
Right. Yeah, exactly. All that kind of shit. It's just trying to have a little bit more awareness, like of your surroundings and what's going on. And especially like self-awareness, like how, you know, why did that negative reaction happen? You know, I mean, I know people don't want to get all googly with it and shit, but you know, it's just like just taking a little time to breathe and like try to calm your life down a little bit.
And the other thing is, like, I personally struggle with this. I'm self-aware enough to identify that. My wife tells me as well, but it's empathy to an extent of trying to understand other people's perspectives and viewpoints, even if they completely disagree with your own, and be like, instead of just being angry and being like, why does that person feel that way? It's just trying to, you know, to like, be more curious and be like, well, why does that person feel that way? What can I do to change that person's perspective?
Sure. It's just all, you know, like, it's just all about just observing and learning and like, you know, why do things happen or what is going on with it? Like you did, like you said earlier, you just don't know. Like, it's just better to be aware and think of, you know, put yourself in somebody else's shoes just for a second, you know, what if that was me? You know, I probably wouldn't be having a fucking good day either, you know? So it's like you said, just be more empathetic and just take a little bit of pause if something affects you emotionally right quick, take a half a second and like think about, oh, well, what was that? Rather than being rather than just reacting to it, you know? I think that would help a lot, but just try, you know, like we always go back to, just try, man. Nobody's asking you to become something amazing. Just keep trying. If we all just try a little bit and we're all trying, it's gotta be better.
Yeah.
You know?
Brad, I did want to ask you as well, to go back to your label for a bit. Do you want to let us know some of the stuff you got coming up? Because I saw in the past week or so, you had like 2 or 3 huge announcements of some really awesome stuff coming up.
Well, you know, the most important one is going to be Redbeard Wall 3.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Which, you know, we're dropping that motherfucker on July 2nd, 2021. And if you're listening right now, the vinyl, we have 3 vinyl variants for pre-order. Bandcamp, go get them. They're fucking killer. There's 4 songs to listen to right now, and this Friday we'll have Move Forth as a world premiere. You can also get the CDs if you don't have a turntable or not doing the vinyl thing, or you can do a digital download of the album on Bandcamp as well. Redbeardwall.bandcamp.com. You know, this is like now signature blend of Aaron's fucking rock and roll, you know, like he does like sludge, post-hardcore, grunge, stoner metal. It's just this really fucking cool mix, but it's Aaron's voice. I mean, Aaron sings and plays guitar, and he tracks the whole thing. And it's really Aaron, you know, coming out, and you hear the honesty and the fucking power, and it's a pretty beautiful album. I think Aaron was talking about how it was an emotional experience for him to record it, and truly honest collection of songs that he wrote, you know. So that's the next release on Desert Records, man. Redbeard Wall 3, July 2nd.
Awesome. And I see it was Sorcia was the other one that you signed recently, and Dizzy Goat, right?
Yeah, so Sorcia is killer band. They're a power trio from Seattle that put out an album, I think in January before COVID 2020. And they're just amazing. It's super heavy. They definitely have like a Seattle like heavy grunge kind of thing that's new, but also like real high on fire mix in there too.
It's dirty
and gnarly and beautiful at the same time. So Sorcia, we're doing an EP on July 16th,
Awesome.
that is going to be called Death by Design. And it's a 16-minute long track that is really, really epic and really takes you through the gamut of heavy sounds and beautiful heavy sounds. And on that is going to be the release of a song that they've done. It's called Dusty, and they gave it the acoustic treatment, and it's super fucking Alice in Chains unplugged kind of.
Awesome.
It's really fucking good. And both Neil and Jessica sing. And so there's a really cool mix of harmonies and vocals in there. Luminero, I haven't even announced it yet, but we're doing EP2 on July 16th as well.
Nice.
And that's a really cool, like a cult blues, desert rock. It is a 3 series. It's a trilogy of EPs, 10 inches that we're doing, and with fantastic art that all combines. When you get the vinyl, you can put it all together with all 3 EPs, which the third one,
that's cool.
I like that.
2022, and it's a real collector's thing. And then we kind of made it like a comic book where it's like Desert Records limited series number 1 of 3 on the top left.
Awesome.
And it's a gatefold, and that's the same band pretty much as the Horn God who's on my album. Same band members, and they're really weird and talented and cool, talented motherfuckers. And they kind of switched gears and doing this Luminero thing, and it's a story of this occult detective who is trying to uncover the mystery of this death of this woman. And it's in truth and reality an experience that Dominic, the singer and main guy, actually went through with somebody that he lost in his life. And so it's really fucking powerful shit, man, the whole story. So those are the 3 releases coming out in July: Redbeard Wall, Sorsha, and Luminero.
And when's Dizzy Got out?
Yeah, so Die Zygote is a duo from Fort Myers, Cape Coral, Florida. They're a father and son, which is this just beautiful thing. It's just the 2 of them. And Ned's, I don't know how old Ned is. He's the father, and Ethan is 16 years old, and he is extremely talented young drummer who is a monster behind the kit at 16.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
And Ned is like Mastodon in one person.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, it's the sounds that he's getting in the studio, and and with all the different guitars that he's using and bass and just powerful vocals. I mean, dude, they're so exciting, like all the bands on this label, they're so hungry and they're so talented and they're really coming up. Like I look at Desert Records as we're like a tastemaker label. And I didn't ever think of that until Jad Schickler from Blues Funeral and Magnetic Eye at Ripple. And he was like, you're a tastemaker label, dude. And that's a lot of hard work because you're not signing bands that people know that well or at all. You're working with bands who are up and coming. And so I think there's going to be something really exciting to see the trajectory of these bands through the years. Cause I get really focused into the now with the label. But like what happens to these bands? Bands come and go. Some bands rise and fall. And it's going to be interesting to see because these bands are so hungry, and I cannot fucking wait for the band to start doing tour packages together and jamming together and supporting each other at home and on the road. And, I'm strategically signing bands based on location so I can create a web of Desert Record bands that the bands do not have to go through booking agents. They can use each other and the venues that they know and to support each other. And also start hooking in with bands with Ripple and whatnot. Cause I know Todd well, and we talked about that too. And it's like, we're going to expand this community, and it's all about putting together some killer showcases, And so that's the whole part of that I never fucking ever talk about on social media, is that there's a whole intent behind the bands that I'm signing and the locations of these bands, where it's like, we got one in every city out west, man, literally at this point, from Texas to New Mexico to Colorado to Arizona to California to Oregon, Nevada, Utah, Montana. I think I'm missing Wisconsin at this point, and we got Washington. It's all connected, and get it heading east too, and starting to run up the East Coast. I'm looking at who to sign throughout there and create this beautiful web where everybody can be connected, and work with other labels, and it's open like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you create a community that it's beyond what I call like the fourth world, which the fourth world is the world of the internet. There's the physical world, and we need to get back. We need to get back into the physical world, and music exists in the physical world.
Right.
We're consuming it, and have been, especially during COVID, in the internet world. But we need to get back to experiencing it in the physical world, and that'll move into the emotional world, and the spiritual world. And so that's really the greater goal of Desert Records, is opening up the physical world to the bands and the fans too, and it becomes integrated, where it's like, fuck yeah, any city out here I can go see a Desert Records bands or a Ripple band, or any other labels out there, and whatnot, and it starts to become a thing where it's like, this is exciting, this actually exists in my town as well.
Right.
Yeah.
That's an awesome goal. I love that.
Yeah, and with the strategically, signing bands from different areas, I mean, that helps more than anybody knows. I mean, booking a DIY tour is not fun.
It's hard, isn't it, Aaron?
It's hard. Really hard. It's hard as fuck. But if you're successful at it, the outcome is great. But man, it's just more work than That's probably the hardest thing to do. So any kind of help, I mean, minimal, maximum, medium, it means a lot.
Yeah, I think that the thing is that, again, I go back to this all the time, that the music industry is different now. And before, there was someone who was doing one job, and now the bands and the labels, we all do all the jobs, mm-hmm. on top of our regular jobs. And
right.
You got to learn fucking fast, man. And you got to be on it, and you got to stay focused, and we're back into this era that is truly DIY, and we're figuring out how to all help each other, because it's it is a challenge out there. Anybody who says it's not, they're not working hard, or they're just one of those super lucky ones. And at the same time, there's integrity in working hard and learning, and I've made a lot of mistakes with music stuff, and I'm sure Aaron understands that, where it's like, you gonna take your fucking lumps, man, and your highs and lows with this, and you got to remember why you're doing it, and also go, well, I'm doing it because I like it, and remember that at the end of the day, that you're doing it because you like it, even though it's a lot of hard work. And the beautiful thing is, you can sit back and you can listen to see what Aaron's put out for music, or what the labels put out for music, and go, fuck yeah, man, that is the fruition of hard work right there, and these bands are working really hard, and they're going to come to your town after COVID and soon, and they're going to fucking tear it up,
yes.
And it's going to be fucking rad.
You built like a legacy. That's what you have to think of as well. Like, you know what I mean? When if someday point comes eventually where you retire Desert Records or whatever, like in your old age, you can look back and be like, well, look how many bands I helped get their music out to all these people.
And I never had a dream of doing this or anything. It just sort of came together where it's like, oh my God, the bands need a lot of help. And they do, bands need a lot of help.
Mm-hmm.
When you think about, height of rock and roll, sometime maybe in the 70s or early 80s, the bands had phenomenal amounts of help in every aspect, like managers for everything,
right.
and being taken care of. And it's not that way anymore. So, Aaron taking care of his customers and commenting and sending them videos or sending them a note in the mail when he sends out merch. I mean, I do the same thing too. Like, you gotta take care of your fans, because it's all you got, and I do all of my customer service for the label. And as soon as someone emails me about an issue and I need to replace a vinyl because it was fucked up in the mail, or they're like, "Where's my thing?" "Oh, I didn't know you didn't get it." Like, I get right back to them. I handle all the customer service, and they know they're dealing with me, and I take care of my fans and communicate with them effectively and let them know what's going on. You got to do that, and that's just part of the greater good, man, and part of the service of rock and roll.
That's a great attitude. Appreciate that. I mean, as someone who purchases music from smaller labels, I appreciate that. Whenever I know that if something goes wrong, I can talk to this person and it will be resolved.
Yeah, I mean, I'll eat shit if I have to, as long as you're happy about it. Like you're gonna be satisfied no matter what happens, if there's a transaction or anything like that. Like goes back to like you taking time to listen to my music. I mean, you actually fucking took money out of your pocket, to pay for my music. Like whatever has to happen, you're gonna get what you want, And I would way rather have 1,000 absolute diehard fans than 10,000 fair weather fans. It means too much to me. So if somebody digs it or wants to buy it, I mean, like I keep going back to, I mean, it's the least I can do is to be grateful and just say thank you.
And again, great attitude.
Yeah.
Not to wrap things up too soon, but we actually have a recording limit on this app that we're starting to approach. So Brendan has a few questions he always likes to ask on every interview. I'm gonna give him some time. Brendan, do you want to fire those off? They're always a lot of fun.
Sure. What was your guys' favorite artists growing up?
You first, Brad?
Yeah. So, wow. I'm 41, so it's been a lot. But growing up, early on, was Guns N' Roses and Motley Crue. Early on, we're talking like second grade.
Yeah.
Beastie Boys. I love the Beastie Boys.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Beastie Boys, Run DMC.
Yeah, and then I went right to Prince, and I just fucking fell in love with Prince when I was about 10, and I got everything Prince had, and Creedence, Clearwater Revival,
Yeah.
Awesome.
and the Beatles, listen. My dad really liked John Lennon, like solo stuff, so I listen a lot of John Lennon with my dad. That reminds me of my father. And then I really got into gangster rap, which is kind of funny. White kid in Maine. 7th grade, and I just love like everything that came out on like Death Row Records,
Definitely.
And Snoop and Dre and Ice Cube, NWA, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then moved straight into like, Nirvana came out in 1991, and it hit everybody right over the fucking head. I think if you caught that wave at that time, and I know it did for Aaron too, because me and him were kind of same generation and age and stuff, and Nevermind hit, and that was just something that hit nationally, because I missed a lot of stuff, West Coast stuff, just I totally missed. If it wasn't big, I didn't get it in Maine, and that kind of got me into some of the early grunge stuff, and I loved Rage, and I started listening to fucking Tool, and then moving backwards into really listening to classic rock for real, and just absolutely fell in love with Black Sabbath, of course. Fall in love with Pink Floyd, of course.
Good.
Led Zeppelin, and then I was obsessed with the Doors, and that was kind of what I was just eating up through high school was that stuff. And blah 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 blah. It moves on from there, But that's those are the big players for me.
Yeah, I was kind of the same path, like Beastie Boys. I performed License to Ill in a talent show one time in the 4th grade. That was kind of the beginning, like Run DMC. I started out as a hip hop kid, but I was an MTV kid too, so all that stuff. I was a Michael Jackson fan when I was a kid. You know,
fuck yeah,
still,
fuck yeah.
You know, despite all the controversies, I still dig him sometimes.
Yeah.
But
Same
just
here.
but then it got into like Van Halen, you know, just all of the stuff that was on MTV. And then when Headbangers Ball came out, like I was also a Motley Crue guy when I was really young, like with House Theater of Pain and all of that. Then Guns N' Roses and all that. Then I got back into rap pretty heavily. I was a DJ Quick guy, Dr. Dre, and like he said, all the Death Row stuff. And then Metallica. I discovered Metallica when I was in the eighth grade, I believe, and Justice for All. And then that put me on the whole trajectory I've been on ever since. Like I'm still a big hip hop guy, but then I'm from Texas. I got in, you know, Pantera was my favorite band for a long time, you know. Saw Pantera like 16 times. Crazy shit. I was a big fan. And then I kind of I kind of got bored with music for a little bit, and then Mastodon came along, and then and then Mastodon and Baroness. My daughter is named Baroness, so I'm a big Baroness guy. So that's kind of the trajectory. But I still I'm into everything. I'm into underground country. I mean, I just like anything that's good. You know, I try to keep it broad. I have two daughters, so I kind of try to stay on like the cutting edge of like pop. You know, I'm just interested in music, man, all around, like just all of it. We're long-winded answers of questions.
It's all good. All good. As a artist yourself, like who do you guys want to see live?
Oh, well, for me, anything, Matt or Al, I want to see him, Matt Pike or Al Cisneros. I mean, that's, I want to go see what they're doing. It's just, they put on a fucking great show always. Whether it's Sleep or Home or High on Fire or whatever. I also love Mastodon, so I'll go see him for sure. A lot of bands are dead now that I missed, so
yeah.
I don't try to take it for granted for sure. I want to see a lot of the Desert Records bands when they come through in Albuquerque, to be honest, because I know they're really good, and I'm really excited to see these bands that have put their music out that I haven't seen live. So that's, I guess, for me in my small world, I'm really looking forward to that.
Nice.
I love Megadeth, and I don't know if I love like Dave Mustaine as a person,
right?
But I fucking love Megadeth's music, especially in that era of like Metallica, the Black Album, which I also, of course, I totally forgot about that. It was my first two CDs was Black Album, Metallica, and Megadeth Countdown to Extinction. And I still listen to Countdown to Extinction all the time. I don't know what the fuck it is. That era of Megadeth, I am just fucking love.
It's so good, dude. I agree completely. It's underrated.
I'm with you too on that.
It just has the punch and the power, and it's just fucking right there, and I just love it. So I would love to see Megadeth before they're done. I've seen Tool a lot, and Tool is really an amazing experience live. And at this point, though, for me, I'm really all about like opening my mind up and not selecting live music that I'm gonna go see, and just be like, cool.
See what pops up. I'm
gonna continue to go out if I can and see stuff that I've never seen before, because you'll really be surprised that way.
Yeah, that's what's cool about living in Albuquerque. You can go do that. Like I have to like plan for show, especially good ones. But I just bought some tickets to go see Glassjaw. The first and next year, it's their 20th and 22nd anniversary of their first two records, so they're playing both of those in full. So I'm excited about that. Glassjaw doesn't come around very often, so. But like Mastodon, I mean, I'll always catch Mastodon, Baroness, fucking Paul Bearer. Paul Bearer is always powerful. Deaf Heaven's always great, man. I've seen them 3 or 4 times. But yeah, it's just like I've pretty much seen everybody that I've wanted to. I'm sure there's a couple that I haven't, but man, I've dedicated my life to going to shows. That's like, other than playing shows, I mean, that's where it's at for me, man.
Hell yeah. And then what do you guys listen to when you need to relax?
For me, I listen to classical Indian raga music.
Interesting.
I listen to a lot of that. Ali Akbar Khan, Ravi Shankar for sure. But anything kind of classical Indian raga, to me, that's the highest form of music. It's just fucking amazing. I listen to a lot of that to relax. I listen to Tina Ewan to relax. True desert rock from Siberian desert, Africa, Mali. They're refugees from Mali, and literally that band traditionally that was traveling, Touareg musicians, so nomadic musicians in the desert, traveling on foot or by camel and playing music around campfires at night in the Sahara Desert. I'm sorry, I said Siberian. Sahara Desert. And with battery-powered amps and electric guitars, and it's true desert rock. And Tina Ewan is amazing.
Quick question before you go off that topic, because I don't get to talk about those people that often, but it seems like something you might know or appreciate. Do you listen to stuff like Mado Mokhtar?
Yeah, for sure. We've got all of his music here in the house, and my 10-year-old,
Awesome.
my 10-month-old son Wyatt loves the fucking boogie to him, man.
Awesome, dude.
Yeah, Mdo Mokhtar fucking gets the fuck down. He's like Prince, Jimi Hendrix, and Eddie Van Halen from Africa.
I love his music, but not many people know who he is. So I'm stoked that I can talk to someone who does.
Oh, dude, he's phenomenal. I love all that shit. I listen to a lot of that stuff. That's what I listen to at home with my wife and my kids because they don't want to. I mean, I think Wyatt inherently likes rock and roll. Like when I put on anything by Wino, he's fucking on it, dude. You know, he's fucking bouncing and fucking rocking out and headbanging. And you're like, dude, you like Wino? That's fucking badass, you know. And I love Wino. But you know, around the home, I'm not just cranking fucking heavy shit with the fam.
Right.
We're listening to that stuff.
Sometimes I like to do that, but it is what it is.
Oh, we do that here. We crank the heavy shit.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, I listen to underground country. I listen to Charlie Crockett, Culture Wall,
Nice.
Paul Cawthon. He's actually playing Psycho Las Vegas. Like Amigo the Devil's really cool. Like, or just some like chill hip hop, you know, shit like that. Jazz, you know, traditional jazz, quite a bit.
So
Awesome. We have about like 10 minutes before the recording will cut off. So if there's anything that either of you guys would like to cover as far as like, you know, upcoming things or anything you want to quickly discuss before it wraps up, yeah, just hit us with it.
Well, I'd love to ask Aaron a question.
Go for it.
Aaron, you have from your social media posts what looks like to be a phenomenal collection wall of amplifiers and orange equipment. Talk to us about your gear, buddy.
Dude, I love my gear. Yeah, dude, man, it depends on where I'm at, but I've got a 4 amp setup. I got a orange OR 100, a dual dark 100, a Thunderverb 200, and then I have a Blackhawk Loki 120. And if I can, it depends on what, like I say, where I'm at. I'll run them all at the same time. I run a 4x15, a 6x12, and 2 4x12s.
Dude, that's some fucking power.
Dude, it is like, you know, I still get shit sometimes, you know, turn it down, but I don't know. Like, you see, I'm always like, well, what's the deal? Like, you know, I just played after a 5-piece band that had 2 full stacks, a bass player, a singer, and a drummer. Like, what's the difference? It's just I'm just using a full band's worth of gear
for
myself. Yeah, you know what I mean? So I don't, you know, they always think it's so loud and all that, but that's just always, to me, that's always been part of it. Like, really, the Conan was the band that really got me into like stoner doom. That's kind of when I became really big into it. You know, my tone's not like that or anything, but it was just about, like, I saw them the first time at a little club in Austin, and I mean, it was a physical experience as well.
Oh yeah.
And so, like, that's part of it too, man. Like, I have some like little bedroom amps and shit, but I can't even play them. Because I mean, I've just got to feel, I need the walls to be shaking, you know? Like that's just a huge thing for me. So yeah, I bring some power, man, and but it's kind of part of the, people know that now, and I mean, but people see it's just a whole deal. Like people see it up there on the stage, they're like, oh, this is fixing to be for real, like it gives, it kind of gives an impression. There's many different advantages to it other than carrying it around, but the few times that I don't, or I like use somebody else's cabinet or something like that, I'm always like disappointed that I did. So, but you're never as strong, as when you come back from tour, man. Like my back, my arms, that's the strongest I ever am.
Hell yeah, man. What about guitars, buddy?
Dude, my main guitar is a 2012 Gibson Explorer. I pretty much use that live 99% of the time. I have a 2004 Les Paul traditional that's on all the records and stuff. And I used to play it live early on, but it's just too nice, man. It's the best guitar I've ever owned. It's beautiful. It sounds fucking insane. But it's just like the Explorer, that's just like the road dog, man. You can just always count on it, It doesn't quite sound as good as the Les Paul, but it also weighs like 5 pounds less. Like that Les Paul, man, will kill you, but like just the sound of it, I mean, you're like, well, I can do this, So well, but yeah, like I run those like I have a 1977 Ludwig bottom kit with a 26-inch kick drum and a Black Beauty snare that was on the new record. I've got that pretty recently. So yeah, I'm fucking living the dream, man.
It's beautiful, man. There's something to be said about swinging a lighter guitar on stage. I play Gibson SGs, and they're light, and you don't want to feel like you're shouldering a log. No shit. Yeah. I used to be an SG guy. I played SGs for years, and I play left-handed, so I don't have the pick of the litter like y'all righties do. Right. But I've just always loved Explorers, and I was finally able to get one. I mean, that's my go-to guitar. I play it at home all the time. I'll bust the Les Paul out every once in a while, but like that Explorer has just become a part of my body, On the new album 3, do you have a mix of those guitars on there? I do. Yeah. I can't remember exactly, but yeah, what the Explorer's in the right speaker and the Les Paul's in the left, or vice versa. I love that, and I also used 2 different amps on the left and 2 different amps on the right, just to get it as full as possible. I love that, I'm really looking forward to listen to that on vinyl and when that comes out, which we've got that on pre-order right now, and there's 3 variants, so we're doing Blood and Ash, which is like gray and red kind of color thing, and we're doing a Red Smoke, which is like transparent and red to make it look like red smoke, literally, and Classic Black. So if you're listening, definitely go pre-order Aaron's new album, Redbeard Wall 3, and hear all that fucking sick gear on there, and killer guitar tones and heavy riffage, and Aaron fucking yelling at you to don't be a fucking dick. Exactly. That's the best summary of the record I've heard yet. Yeah.
All right. I think I'm going to lose connection soon. So I just wanted to say thanks to both of you guys for coming on. It was really awesome of you guys to take like 2 hours out of your day to chat to us.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's just been a great time.
We love y'all guys, man. If you ever need me, I'm sure if you ever need Brad, y'all just let us know. We got your back always, man. It's been a fucking honor and a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Same goes for us. If you guys need anything from us ever through Cave Dweller, you hit us up. We'll be there.
Appreciate you, man.
Thank you so much, James and Brendan and Aaron. It's great talking with you guys. And for everybody who listens in, I really appreciate all the support last 3 years on Desert Records. And, it means everything to me too. So thank you so much. And it was great chatting with you guys.
Yeah. Hell yeah. So hopefully everyone takes away a little bit of positivity and maybe a slightly more positive outlook on life from this. And if not, listen to it twice.
Damn right.
Yeah. So thanks everyone for listening, and thanks to our guests, and tune in next time for another guest. Thanks.
To all the names of you